Hi, I'm Mark Thomas, and Conversations continues here on WVIA. It was a couple of shows ago that we took you on a road trip to the Houdini Museum in Scranton. Well, we had so much fun that day that we decided to come back and pay a visit to one of the top female magicians in the country, Dorothy Dietrich, who is also responsible for the Houdini Museum. And welcome to Conversations.
Well, thank you.
Why is it that magic is so difficult for women?
Well, it's not so much that it's difficult. It was difficult to get accepted as a female magician.
Mm-hmm.
You know, by my peers, they would say things like, oh, she's a girl magician. Well, you know, I'm either a magician or I'm not a magician. In my mind, I really thought, you know, if I do magic, I'm a magician. In fact, they even invented a new phrase for what I was, and they called me a magician. Oh. Which I thought was an insult. I thought that meant like a little magician or a little bit less than a magician. So I really decided that that's when my life took a turn, when I knew that I had to do more macho magic, you know, with
like catching bullets.
Yeah. Like do these daring things.
Well, we're going to talk about that in a little bit. How did you get started? What made Dorothy decide that she wanted to go into magic and show business?
Yeah. When I was a little kid, I saw a magician at school. And he was terrific. He was really great. But what really got me was that thing that happens between the performer and the audience. And there's just nothing that can explain what that is. It's just an emotional connection between a good performer and an audience that's riveted to that show. And I thought, what a great way to make a living. Earlier than that, I grew up with 6 brothers. So as a young girl growing up with 6 brothers, I was never allowed to play with the guys because it was just not cool to have the little sister around, you know.
Sure.
And whenever they'd play baseball, they never let me play because whenever the ball came toward me, I just went, yeah! And so it was not real appropriate. But they did let me play cops and robbers as long as I allowed them to tie me up, and I would just be the one that would be tied to the rope or tied to the stake or the chair. Once they even locked me in a closet and I kept getting out. So then my aunt was visiting one day and she saw this going on and she said, who do you think you are, Houdini? And I said, who's that? And she said, you know, the escape guy. And so I went to the library after that and got a book and learned about Houdini. And I'll tell you what, ever since I read that first book, I was hooked. I could not believe all the things that Houdini did and the incredible legend that he was. And I'm still hooked. Every year that goes by, I'm learning more and more about him. And the deeper you delve into his life, the more unbelievable things you uncover.
The museum is really more of out of a love and respect for the man than it is a business venture.
Yeah, it's a nonprofit organization. It's not designed to make a profit. In fact, all of the monies that come in go toward new projects, new Houdini projects. We now are putting together a CD-ROM, an interactive CD-ROM for people to buy, and they'll be able to really go into Houdini's life in a big way through this adventure on the CD-ROM. And we're also putting together information for documentary film with information that hasn't been covered yet about Houdini. And so there's loads of new projects. We also have a couple of plays. One is a one-man play with all kinds of anecdotes and stories about Houdini's life, starting from being a child and how he fibbed about where he was born. He always claimed he was an American, born in America. Mm-hmm. Well, he was an American, but he was actually born in Budapest in 1874, and he came here at 4 years old. His family moved to Appleton, Wisconsin, and then his life grew from there, and he really loved America. And so he did claim it as his place of birth. And then on and on. I'm trying to think of all the other different projects that we have. There are just constant. We keep increasing the website. We have an internet. I was just going to say, you have a
website that's a very popular spot.
We just got information from NetGuide, which is the big research guide on the web. And of the 50,000 top websites, they gave us a rating of, the highest rating you can get is 5 stars. And they have 4 categories that they rate you on. Mm-hmm. And on 3 of the categories, we got 5 stars. And the other category was, I I think graphic design, and that got 3 stars. So we need a graphic artist to help us out.
Do you know the website address real quick?
It's a long-winded one, but basically any of the search engines, if you type into Metacrawler or any of the big search engines, you'll find, you type in Houdini Museum Scranton and you'll get us. And you'll have a lot of fun on that site because it's not only Houdini. You'll learn a bit about Scranton, about Northeast Pennsylvania and the Pennsylvania connection. And if you're coming to visit the Houdini Museum, you'll also see right on that site loads of other places to come visit, all the different attractions, places to eat, places to stay. And so it's really user-friendly. It's designed for the average traveler to be able to come and enjoy all of Northeast Pennsylvania, because Scranton, believe it or not, according to the state, is the center of the Poconos, the Pocono Mountain region, and we really have the historic jewel of the Poconos with all of the great historic things that we have here. We have the iron furnaces, the Scranton,
there's so
the
much
steam
to do, I know.
town, the coal mine, and the coal mine history. We talk here about our vaudeville history and about the iron business, the iron and steel business, and how Scranton was the first city in this side of the world to be able to manufacture iron rails, which was so important at that time because getting those tracks laid across the country is really what made this country grow rapidly. And so there's a lot of proud things that this area has to toot their horn about, and so we get a lot of students coming from everywhere from preschool to grade school.
It's
all
up and
the way
down the
up,
East Coast even, right?
Oh
You
yeah,
people-
all over Northeast PA, and then we get visitors, field trips from New Jersey and from, we even had a field trip from Connecticut. The kids stayed overnight and did a whole history tour of the region, and there's so much to boast about in this community. Scranton was the first city to electrify its streets, even before New York City, and we had the first commercial electric trolley.
Hence the name, the Electric City.
Hence the name, thank you.
Okay.
The Electric City.
Well, thank you. You led me right into it.
And yeah, which is really neat because now there is a magazine called Electric City. We were so proud to see that. And it's a very nice guide to what's going on in the community.
It is.